All right, cool. So the goal of this is we are going to build a list of cars using React. I've ran this command already, npx create react app car list. So according to the documentation over here, it's created a new directory called car list. And to run our application, all we have to do is run npm start. So what I'm going to do over here, go to cd car list, change that directory. So we are now in that directory. I'm then going to open up our code editor by using code dot. Then what I'm going to do is just place it over here. There you go, perfect. So moving forward, what we want to do is open up our terminal over here. Then run npm start. So over here, we're going to get our application. So right on the right side, you can see it's loading, and then we get the default application. Okay, so what our goal is to make a list of cars. So we're going to take this default application, delete everything inside of here. So what we're going to have left is import React from React. And we're going to want to add component over here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to build out a class called app that extends component. And then we're going to have one method inside of component called render. That render method is going to return some JSX. So in our situation, the JSX we want to return is an ordered list. So hit refresh, and we have nothing here. So if I go over here, and I put li item, and we put a second item, it says, you can see that it says 1 and 2. Right? So let's get a list of cars. So in a previous example that I did over here, I'm going to just copy and paste over that. Let me see, it's going to get that. So I'm going to get a list of cars. So what I'm doing over here is I'm creating a list of cars. It's a constant called cars, and it's an array. Now an array you can initialize by putting in between these two brackets, the square brackets, putting your list of cars. What our aim to do is we want to display this on the screen, and we want to map from this string, say Honda Civic, to an li Honda Civic. And same thing for BMW, Tesla, we'll be reproducing that string. Now in order to do that, what we're going to do over here is inside this over here, which will be JSX, because we have these HTML elements, we can put some JavaScript. And that JavaScript will go inside those curly braces. So over here, what we're going to do is we're going to call cars, which is our array up above, and we're going to call map. Inside of map, we're going to give it an arrow function. This arrow function will take in two parameters. One will represent the item in the list. So in our situation, this is going to be a car. And the second item will be an index. So with this arrow function, we put the parentheses over here, which represents the function parameters being passed in. And then we have our arrow over here, and to the right of the arrow, it represents the body of the function. So since this is shorthand and we don't have curly braces here, this will return automatically. We'll open and close two parentheses because we're going to be doing some JSX and we want to put it on multiple lines. So I'll put an li over here and close an li. And if I were to just let it create the li's, we would get an empty list. So because we're inside of an li over here, we can say car, which is our car, and we need to put these parentheses over here, these braces, to allow us to do JavaScript inside of JSX. So when I save that, we get our list of cars. If I wanted to, I could also display that index, but we don't want to do that. That index will be numbered, and over here we get an error inside of React telling us that each child in a list should have a unique key property. So in order to do that, our child is the li, every single one of these items. So in React, we add a key, and that key is equal to, well, we could put car because each one of these is unique, or is it? No, it isn't. We have a Toyota Supra right there. So what happens when we do that? Let's save that and find out. So save. Oh, check that out. Encountered 2 children with the same key, Toyota Supra. Now, if we modified that list and hit refresh, we would be fine. So since this list is kind of simple, but we could have duplicate cars in it, what we could do is we could use the index to represent that. In a real world example, normally your data would come back from a database or have some kind of unique identifier so that when you make a change to your data, React will know which item to update. Otherwise, you can get some weird behavior. If you were sorting or changing the order of this, the index would not really work. You would need some unique identifier. Typically, a database will give you either an integer or a GUID that represents each one of these objects so that if you were to move or change the order, React would know how to represent that information. So this is just a quick little example to show you how to build a list in React using this functionality over here. You can't do a for loop or a while loop or anything like that in JSX, but you can build out a list using the function map, giving an anonymous function and then outputting JSX or any other literal that you want to. Hopefully that's helpful.